Elizabeth here at Petals and Parchment. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to show you my newest kit available to members in my Ko-fi shop for the Petals and Parchment papery. This month's kit is called Christmas Confectionery. Here's a little flip through so you can see what I'm talking about. What do you guys think? Pretty cute, huh? So for those of you that don't know, I am a classically trained chef and I spent many years in the hospitality industry, and I got the idea for an elf head chef who's at the North Pole bossing everybody around. The idea for this kit came about because I am a professional chef by trade, and also I really love cookies. So here we have a couple examples of the recipe books that you can create for friends and family, and we're going to make one of these today and show you a few ideas with decorating them. But these are really nice because they'll lay flat for you when you're baking, so you can leave it open and read your recipe. And they're highly customizable. This one has many more pages, and I really love this grid pattern, which will be really nice to write on. So you can use some of the backing sheets in the kit to print these recipe cards, and I did use some grommets on the covers. You could do the back cover if you'd like. You can do every recipe card with grommets. There are faux grommets there as well, so you don't have to do grommets on every page if you don't want to. So after you get those cut out and bound together, then you can start decorating. These would also be nice if you tied them with ribbon, some like festive ribbon. That would be really cute too. And before I go any further into showing you the decoration, this month I'm requesting recipe submissions, is so that we can have one for our group that has all of our most beloved family recipes in it. And I've already gotten several submissions, so I'm really excited to put those together for you. And I've gotten a bunch of the elements cut out already, so I'm really excited to get going on the decoration part. Okay, so what I have here is a really long strip of paper. This is probably, I don't know, 14 inches long or so, give or take. And how I got this strip of paper like this is I took a roll of adding tape for one of those adding machines, and I just tore off a selection, folded it in half, and cut it in half lengthwise so that it was a long thin strip, and then I glued the two strips together with some glue stick. So that's all I've done so far, and I've got a selection of materials. So here I've just got some interesting textiles and scrap pieces of paper that I thought would look festive with this. So anything green, red, gold, silver, twine, any ribbon shreds or paper that you think would look good with it. And then I've got all the little bits cut out, and I've got some recipe cards to make another book with our own cover. Then I've got some papers that I did in Christmas colors on my jelly plate. So I've got some cool festive painted papers here. And then there's also a couple collage sheets that I included in the kit. So this one, just they have Christmas words on them. I've also got a page from A Christmas Carol. So I'm just gonna start by ripping some painted papers. And what I'm doing, I just want to have a base of colorful papers down the side of the strip here. And I want to try to get this Merry Christmas. So I've got the Merry Christmas there. That gives us some good text on there. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna get these stuck down and come back and show you. And I'm just going to use a glue stick for now. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I've just got all of the papers stuck down, and so now I'm just gonna trim the edges off and clean it up a bit, and then we'll move on to decorating it. Okay, here it is all trimmed up and looking lovely and festive. And I want to make sure to tell you that don't think about it too much. Just put the pieces down, because no matter what you do, it's going to look amazing. So don't get stressed out about what order to put things down. Just try to stick them down and have fun, and don't think about it too much. And if you're going to sew afterwards, you don't have to use very much glue, just enough to stick it down, and then you're going to sew a few lines all the way down to stick everything. My sewing machine is currently in storage, so I'm going to use a lot more glue, and if I notice a spot that isn't stuck down well, I'll just go and stick that down real quick. Also, I wanted to mention that if you don't have printer tape, that's totally fine. You can just use 2 strips of scrap paper. Any paper that you have will do just fine. Now the fun part. So you get to go through with little textiles and ribbon and shiny things and fun things and just decorate. So I like to put red, gold, green, silver, and white. So those are kind of the colors that I have, and you just really, the tiniest bit is enough. Let's see, I've got some green here, and I've got some white. And let's see, I think a little piece of lace doily would look fabulous. In addition to the snippet strip, we can also build some clusters. So that's where this stuff comes in. Okay, so here's a base for a few clusters. Then you just start playing around and building up layers and see what looks good together. Okay, so we've got all of these clusters here, and then I finished decorating and inking this snippet strip. So one way that you could use this is to cut little clusters off of it, and they're ready to go clusters. So I'll just do a few here. And these are nice and small because we started with cutting the base paper in half. So I'm just going between each decoration and cutting there, and they're perfectly sized clusters. So these would look super great if you just want to decorate, or one of the recipe cards on the back. You could do a decoration if there's room. These could be really great tabs in a bigger journal. So now we've got all of these, which are super cute. Okay, I'm back. I kind of got pulled away and now I'm coming back to this with fresh eyes, and so I redid it best I could remember. And so what I thought we could do today was, I found this like junk mail envelope that has the wide window, and I thought that I would take some of the clusters that we made quite simply and place them in here to fill in a collage, and then I just picked like a focal point to also put in there. So I'm gonna glue all of these items down and glue this shut, and this will be my cover, which then I'm going to cut to size to match my recipe cards. And then I'll also create like a back cover, I think, with this one. So yeah, and then I'm gonna decorate the edges with some washi tape, and hopefully it'll make a really cute cover. So let's get started on that. Just gonna use some of this Fabri-Tac, and you wanna make sure to let the glue come all the way to the tip before you start squeezing, and then you won't get that crazy volcano effect that loves to happen. Okay, and if it hangs off a little bit, that's fine. I'm just going to trim it down. Okay, I have this songbook that is like barbershop style Yuletide favorites, and I just picked it up and happened to notice this on the back, which I think would work really well for a recipe book, even though this is coming off of a songbook. And this has some like really awesome old Christmas music, so whenever you see music sheets, pick up a few and just keep them around for things like this. I'm trying to keep all of my Christmas items together and Halloween items together, so that each year I can just go back and have like a few things to work with already, like wrapping paper that I saved from the previous year specifically, or like really good Christmas cards. And then I've also got this sheet music, which this is like the first time I'm using it for anything, and I've also got some Christmas scrapbook papers. So just keeping a few things like that on hand, so you always have something to grab from, and then you print your favorite printable and put them all together, and you can make something really unique and festive. I've got scorched timber, so that's like a pretty dark brown, which is good because I didn't want to go quite as dark as a black outline, but this scorched timber is one of my favorites. Just gives it a little something to make it stand out against the background, which is kind of a little busy now. And stick our little bear down and then close it and make sure that everything's where it needs to be, which it is. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go around and glue the outer edge here. And I'm gonna try to squish everything down as much as possible. Okay, and then I'm just gonna trim off all this stuff. Normally I would wait a little bit until it was finished drying so that I didn't get my scissors all gross. Next, I want to decorate the outside, but first I want to trim it to be the same size as my card. So I'm just going to line it up, and I'll give a little border on either side actually. Alright, that's a little bit crooked. That's not too bad. Plus we're gonna cover it with washi tape so we can sort of hide that. But it does look really cute with the white since the inside is so busy, so you could just do little dots with marker or colored pencil or crayon or something around the outside. I've been really wanting to play with my washi tapes lately, so I'm just gonna have some fun and cover the edges. If you heat up your washi tape with a hair dryer or your heat gun, it can heat the glue back up so that it doesn't rip when you're unrolling it. We'll see if that did the trick. Yay! It worked! Envelope here, I could do that. Then I would have another window opportunity on the back. Why not? Get my guillotine for this one. So you can save this piece for something else if you want, but I'm just gonna throw this little flap away. And then we're basically doing the same thing that we did with the front here. So I'm just gonna open this all the way. That's just my preference. You don't have to. Voila. Okay, so I think for this one, I'm gonna do the inside the same. So I want this. Just marking it and cutting it now while I have it here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take a couple more of my pre-made clusters and do the same thing back here. I think this is a really cute cluster and I don't want to waste it underneath this, so I think I'm just gonna do one long one here. We need another focal point, maybe an elf, maybe he lives on the outside. A spoon. Should I do the spoon? So first I'm going to glue the spoon down in the correct spot so that it doesn't move. So I'm just lifting it up and gluing underneath of it so it doesn't move. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then turn this over and repeat. It's really tricky when things, you get them just lined up like so. And I want to make sure to get any of that excess glue wiped up so that it doesn't gunk up the window. Okay, looks good. And then now I'm just going to glue around the edge again. Look Looking good, looking good. So now we're gonna do the washi tape again. If you'd like, you could collage the outside with paper if you don't have washi tape. Get this mess cleaned up and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, so I'm going to punch some holes in the covers and then we're just going to bind with some pretty Christmas ribbon. I've stacked both of the covers with the insides facing each other and the direction that I want them for the final product, and I've stuck them together so that I just have to punch the hole once. Hopefully it will go through and they'll be lined up perfectly. Okay, that came out pretty good, but I'm gonna do it twice to each hole because I know that these grommets are maybe 3 times to each hole because these grommets that I'm using are really large. So I'm just punching the holes big, and then I might have to actually go in and do it again, but we'll see. And I'm just eyeballing it. You can measure if you'd like to. Just be careful not to get too close to the edge. Okay, so I'm just gonna set to work now putting the grommets in the covers. Now we can set to work binding the cards in between the covers and then we'll be all done. So let's see. Picked these ribbons up secondhand and somebody wound them on bobbins and they taped it and the tape won't come off, so here we go. This I think would look really adorable with the journal, so I'm gonna get a needle and try to thread it through. This is my little needle book that I made. Hopefully this one fit through here. Let's see. I snuck it through. Okay, so I'm going to just carefully thread it through each of the pages, tie it off, and then do the other side. I'm gonna make sure to leave myself a lot of room because I have very bumbly fingers and I really struggle to tie things when the string or yarn is too short. Okay, so get that all snug there and make a little bow. Like I said, this might not work, but this is the idea that I had, so I'm going with it. Okay, and I'm just gonna thread this one more time and do the same thing. And of course you could make these as big or as little as you want. I've only done 3 pages here, but you could certainly make these as large as you like. And then I've also got a whole bunch of member submitted recipes, which is really fun. Please continue to send those to me so that I can share the fun with everyone. Okay, let's see. Is it functional with the ribbon? Sort of. Should leave it a little looser so that it can flip open. What do you say? Should we try that? Is that a good theory? Don't tie so tight. You could use a tool like this and tie your bow around it so that it doesn't go too tight, and then pull the tool out. See how that works. There we go. Okay, let's try it out. That's better. You could play with it. It might work better with some twine. So yeah, I'll probably play with the binding method, but it is super cute. I do like the ribbon, but there we go. If you've been waiting for this tutorial, thank you so much for your patience while I've been putting out fires on my end. I hope you're enjoying the Christmas confectionery this month, and stay tuned for more bonus pages and more fun to come. Remember, send your recipes to me at petalsandparchment@outlook.com through Messenger or Ko-fi, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye!